It's just really quick to get a cool groove. Yesterday, I released the alpha version of my music app Soltet. There have been so many updates since the last video. I figured instead of trying to go through each of the updates, I would just do a little guided tour of where the program is at right now, and we can consider that the manual for the alpha. If you're interested in helping test with us, there will be a link to my Discord below this video. The link to the alpha will be up for just a few more days, so jump on it. If you're watching this afterwards, do not fret. The beta version will be out in a month or two, so I'm super hyped on the progress, and let's just jump into it. This is what you'll see when you open up the program. In the main menu, you can make a new composition, load an old one. You've got a library of your recordings that I'll get to in a little bit. And then settings, you can change some performance stuff. Depending on your machine, you might want to turn off all anti-aliasing. But yeah, let's make a new composition. When you first jump in, this is what you'll see. The top bar, the left panel for details of whatever's selected, and the right panel with a bunch of global settings, the effects, and the theme. Let's give this one a name so that we can make sure it's saved. And let's just call it Tut. If you haven't seen any of the videos before, hopefully it's pretty obvious what's happening. But in general, balls drop from spawners and they make noise when they hit other balls or these pads. And you can add more spawners by clicking up here. You'll see these semicircles with the plus. And then down here in this main area, the option to click and spawn a new pad. All of the pads and the balls will start locked to the global sound. So if you want just, one instrument for every collision, that will kind of be the natural state. You can change that. You can change the tempo. You can change the timing. So if I click over here and then right click this, it'll turn into a transparent. You'll see that solid is no longer checked. And that means balls will just pass through it. And then we'll add a few more. And then it gets kind of crazy. And that organic feeling is pretty cool, but you might want it to be a little more on beat, which you can change with timing, which is essentially the quantize. So this correction amount will push any sound to the next nearest 16th note in this case. And change that obviously to an 8th note. What you can then do is turn the threshold down. Let's turn this back to 16th. So for the threshold, it starts at 1, which means that 100% of the notes will be quantized to the next division that you lock it to. And if we turn it down to 0.5, essentially what happens is if a sound is played less than half of the time away from the next division, it will play immediately. So it's kind of a way to get some organic feel to it. Let's leave it up here for now. Actually, I was liking that 8th. And then with the wind, so if the wind is anywhere but 0, it will kind of push the balls in that direction with a little bit of random variability over time. And I think I'll add a sway or a drift option here so that it's even more random and it'll kind of choose between left and right. Pretty fun to do after you've kind of built up a whole scene, because then you can see what other variations happen. And then finally the global key. So this is defaulting to the minor pentatonic in C. You can change obviously any of the root note, and then major, minor, and their pentatonics. Next in the right panel, we'll check out the effects. You can turn up the drive. I like this mode. You can turn up the chorus. You can turn up the echo. You can sync that. And this actually leads nicely into the left panel. So if you look over here, right now the ball is selected. You can choose the spawners or any of the individual pads. So let's actually clear the pads for now, so I can show off what I'm talking about. Another thing you can do is if you have an object selected, you can press F to delete it. So let's move this spawner around. If you hold Shift, you'll see the grid pop up. So let's go right in the middle. I'll add a new pad, add it to the very center point. And then let's make this spawner go twice as fast so that the balls hit each other. So you can turn the effects off for the balls hitting each other or any of the individual pads. You see, don't have any of that drive or the chorus or the spaciousness. And then at the top here, you'll see that it is locked to the global sample, the global sound. So if you wanted to change that, you can change it directly and it'll untick that checkbox. Maybe we want this to be like a harp. This sounds pretty cool. But then if you click this, it will lock itself back to the global sound. You can change the volume of the balls. Change the pitch variation. You can change how much they bounce and their gravity. Add some more pads here. And let's make them bounce like a lot with a lot of gravity. You go really fast. Let's turn on the timing. Or maybe you want it to be low gravity with less bounce. So the balls and the pads can also be changed from the global key. So you'll see over here, the lock is checked. So that means it's always following the global key. So let's uncheck it and we can change some things. Maybe we want the balls to only play the C or the G and we want them to play them an octave up. Then we can do a lot of those same things on the pads. You can change the sound to not be the global sound. You can change the pad to not be the global key. And maybe we want options for a normal octave or one above on this pad that is selected right now. If you find a sound here that you like and you think that everything should be that, like the global sound, you can click this and it'll update the global sound. That sounded nice. Let's turn up the room. Turn up the chorus. The way we've been using it so far is in auto spawn mode, which will pretty much always show you this like ghost pad and allows you to left click anywhere within the correct zones to add a spawner or a pad. But one thing I prefer is turning off the auto spawn. So if you uncheck that, you'll see that it has a little tooltip below it. And it will make you hold S before left clicking to add one of the objects, which I like. So you'll see that anywhere in here, I'm just clicking and it's gonna deselect and reselect the balls. And then if I hold S, that ghost will show up and I can add them there. So I am digging this. This is pretty cool. And what you can do next is record it, and you'll record the audio and the MIDI, and you'll be able to pull that into anything. Click to stop that. Let's save and exit. That'll bring us back to the main menu, and now I can show off the library. So this is basically all of the recordings you've done. This will just show you the audio files. And this one, for example, click it, you can play with space. Plays on this little record. There's also where you change where you want to save your files, if you want to have a custom folder for that. And with any of them selected, you can show in Finder and that'll take you to the WAV file and the MIDI file. They're going to be named the exact same right next to each other. When you rename anything in here, it will also rename the associated MIDI file. So that's really nice. Let's go back. To show off the last thing, let's come in here, load up something. And I wanted to show off the themes. So you can do a lot with the colors and the look of Soltet. If you click over here into theme, there's going to be a bunch of presets in the Soltet category. You can change all the colors. You can change what the ball looks like. Let's go back to default and I'll show off some stuff. So the world is maybe pretty self-explanatory, but you've got your light. You've got general exposure. And you've got contrast. And again, you can hold command and click to set it back to their defaults. And then from here down is kind of like the tint section. So if you have the mix at 0, none of these other knobs will do anything because they're affecting the tint and the shadow. So if we turn that up to 50, you'll see that we can cycle through the hues in the color wheel. We can turn up the saturation and the brightness of the tint. And then if we like push that all the way, it gets very extreme, which is obviously a little too much, but I kind of like how dumb it can look sometimes. You'll see with here for the shadow, if I crank that, like it starts to really mess up the aliasing in a way that feels, I don't know, glitchy and cool to me. So that's obviously way too much. You can bring the brightness down, bring the contrast back. And then maybe we want to start from like flat, for example. This is a nice kind of like relaxed look, and you can just change the color. It's a good way to get some custom stuff going. If you have something you like, you can come up here and press save, and that'll prompt you to name it. And then let's just call this flat green. And then if you click on the preset and you go to custom, you'll see that we have a bunch saved here. I want to make a way to like send these to each other in the Discord. I think that'd be super fun. And then from here, I do want to show off the shadow. It's kind of a peculiar system. It is not intuitive maybe, but I think it's like a fun play on just having like a primary and a secondary color. So if you come over here, let's turn the mix up a good bit with offset to 0, which will be a perfect inversion. So, you know, like opposite color. You can turn invert all the way up. And you see, that's pretty nice already. It's kind of cool. You'll see what I was talking about with, especially in the text. It's like definitely not perfect, but I think it's fun. You can turn the saturation of the shadow up or down. So this kind of just allows you to do a bunch of different stuff. The offset is like how much the shadow should be tinted towards the inversion. So if you go all the way to negative 0.5 or 0.5, it's essentially not having the invert on at all. It'll do a little bit if you have the saturation anywhere but up. But yeah, like if you command click to go back to the middle, you can also do fun things like put the inversion to only like half, and then it'll all be gray pretty much, which is a nice look. But yeah, let's make a new composition. Okay, that sounded pretty sick. Let's record this and make a little beat out of it. Alright, that'll do it for this one. If you're interested in testing, like I said, jump into the Discord. It's been super fun seeing people play with this and give feedback. I'm really hyped to keep working on this. I think that the beta will be out in about a month or so. The alpha link will be up for a few more days. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.